This is the video to talk about and discuss on your practice paper, Set B. So we're going to start with question number 1. Okay, question number 1 says this. You have got one yo-yo that is very expensive. It's going to cost as much as 3 similar whistles. And Jack paid $270 for 2 such yo-yo. So over here, let me just do some little notes. I know that one yo-yo is actually the same as 3 whistle. Okay, they cost the same. So because this person called Zack, he bought 2 same yo-yo. So this 2 yo-yo is actually in fact the same as, it's like unitary method. It's the same as the cost of 6 whistle. Right? So instead of saying you bought $270 for 2 yo-yo, you can actually say that you bought 6 whistle because they cost the same price. $270 for 6 whistle and 3 such whistle. So in fact, altogether there are a total of 9 whistle. And this 9 whistle, how did I get 9? Because I've converted the 2 yo-yos to 6 whistle. 6 whistle and 3 whistles makes 9. And 9 whistles altogether cost me $2.70. Okay. Now you notice in the answer blank they will like you to put the answers in cents. Now because my money now is in dollars, I would like to change it into cents, 270 cents. So that my final answers will be in a cents mode. Now if 9 whistle costs 270 cents, then 1 whistle will simply be 270 cents divided by 9. And I'll get a total answer of 30 cents. Question number 2. Mr. Lim took his family to the zoo. They were in the zoo from this time all the way to 3:45 p.m. Alright, so from the morning all the way to the night, what fraction of the time out of this 24 hours was spent at the zoo? Alright, so let's find out the duration from this time to this time first. Okay, now if you would like to be very sure in the exams, because mental sums sometimes can fail you, now please feel free to do up your timeline in order to find out the duration. Okay, so you started off with in the morning and you can jump by an hour. Now for me, I would like to just save time. I would like to jump to straight to the afternoon. From 9:45 to 12:45, that's a total of 3 hours. And from 12 all the way to 3, that's a total of another 3 hours. So a total of 6 hours was spent in the zoo. Alright, now they're asking what fraction out of this 6 hours did you spend at the zoo. So you know that you spent 6 hours in the zoo, and in a whole day there are a total of 24 hours. This is actually your fraction. But that's not the final answer because you will like to express it in the simplest form. Now for you to express it in the simplest form, find out the common factor. You can divide them by either 2 or you can divide them by equal to 6. For me, I would just like to take the shorter way, divide them by 6 straight away, and I get the answer 1/4. And this is your answer. Question number 3. This boy had a rectangular piece of paper. So this is how the rectangular piece of paper looks like. Now he folded a corner of it as shown below. What is the area of the piece of paper at first? Now I know this question is easy, but there are some things that I would like you to take note of. Alright, because in the exams there can be many versions of the same type of questions. Now you do realize that this part of the paper is being folded. And it feels like a triangle, isn't it? So now when we talk about a triangle is actually half of a square, half of a rectangle. So if you are able to visualize, you will know that this triangle, when it is unfolded, it gives you back a full square. Okay, so if you would like to find this triangle, it is actually half times base times height, isn't it? Which is 1 times 1 divided by 2. So this gives you 0.5. Now, and you know that 0.5, when you multiply it double, you get back the square, which is actually 1 square centimeters. Alright, so these are just little things for fun, for you to know. In the event in exams, a question where there's folding paper comes out, you would know that half a triangle gives you a full square. Alright, let's go back to the question proper. So what is a rectangular piece of paper? Now if you know that this is actually a square, then the sides are actually the same. 1 cm by 1 cm. Alright, now what is the area of the paper at first? Is actually the entire rectangular paper, including this square or this folded portion. So the breadth is actually just none other than 3 plus 1 is 4. So the simple one-step problem, 7 times 4 gives you the answer 28 square centimeter. That's your answer for question 3. The sides of a triangle are in the ratio 4:3:5. So there's no diagram drawn. So what I could actually do, if you are someone who prefers visual and you learn it the visual way, I'll just draw out the triangle. Alright, this applies to any question where you are talking about squares, rectangles, and you need a picture to imagine. So the longer side will be 5, alright, followed by 4 and 3. And they say that the length of the longer side is actually 20 cm, which means that this 5 units here is the same as 20 cm. Alright, so what is a parameter? Parameter will be all the 3 sides added together, isn't it? So you know that 5 units is 20. Okay, we always look for 1 unit first. 20 divided by 5 gives you a total of 4. Alright, now the parameter would involve you adding up all the units, which is 5 plus 4 plus 3. And this gives you a total of 12 units. So let's find out exactly 12 units. How much is that? 4 times 12 gives you a total of 48. So your answer will be 48 centimeters. Okay, question number 5. Question number 5. You will see that there are actually 3 quantities because there are altogether 3 little girls that's been mentioned here. So what does it say here? For every 6 batches Tina received, Kate received 2 and Ivy received 3. Now this doesn't look very obvious, but in fact this question is actually a ratio question because you're comparing against 3 different people, and these 3 people, there's a relationship between the 3 of them. Every 6 batches, Kate is going to receive 2, Ivy is going to receive 3. So there's a relationship, right? If Tina doubles up, Kate will double up also, Ivy also double up. So this is what we call as a relationship. It's like a ratio. Ratio talks about relationship among the quantities. So it's not obvious, but we have to express them in ratio, knowing that this is a ratio question. Tina to Kate to Ivy, and Tina received 6. Kate is going to receive 2. Ivy is going to receive 3. So there's a relationship. If Tina receives 12, Kate will be receiving 4, and then Ivy receives 6. So there's a double relationship here. So let's just go back to the question. Tina is going to receive 18. So Tina is going to get 18. Now how did 6 become 18? You know that it is triple multiplied by 3. So the question would like you to find out how much Kate and Ivy will receive altogether. So for us to find out how much Kate is going to receive, how much Ivy is going to receive altogether, we need to find individually first. Since you multiply all by 3, you will have to multiply the rest by 3 as well. Alright, so 2 times 3 gives you actually a total of 6. So I'll just use a different color to denote 6. And 3 times 3 gives you a total of 9. So we are able to answer the question now. How much did Kate and Ivy receive altogether? 6 plus the 9, these two colors, gives you answer 15. That's your answer. Right. Question number 6 is actually a MSP and a 60-day experience question. So to those who have knowledge of this, you will find that one way is to do it by guess and check, but it's going to be very, very time consuming because your friends who knows how to do this question using this technique called SAT, they will be able to solve it a lot faster than those who did it by guess and check. Alright, now guess and check works, but not all the time, as in the case of this one. Alright, especially it's time consuming and it's 3 marks only. It's worth using by SAT. Now if you know and you can recall, we talk about sets being putting all the things into one group. So that is the meaning of sets. So in this question, one set is going to consist of a duck and a goat. Alright, so if I can draw that out in pictures, one set, alright, of extra value mu will consist of one duck as well as one goat. Okay, that is one set. So we are interested to find out how many sets there are altogether, right? Now, but the issue is this. You have 5 more goats than ducks, meaning to say that these 5 extra goats, they cannot be put into a set because there are just 5 extra goats more than the ducks. So they don't belong to any sets. So it will be good for us to take off these 5 goats first. How do we do that? Now we know that goats are 4-legged animal, right? And these 5 extra goats, let's just take them out first. Alright, let's count the total number of legs these 5 goats have, and it's a total of 20 legs. Alright, now these 20 legs are extra legs because they don't belong to any set. So what I could do is, from the total number of legs, I take off these extra legs, which is going to give me 84 legs. Now what does this 84 legs tells me? This 84 legs tells me that now I've removed the 5 extra goats. I will be able to find out how many sets there are. Alright, now let's go back to the set again. Now if one duck has 2 legs and one goat has 4 legs, in one set it makes a total of 6 legs. Right? So in one set there's a total of 6 legs. So you know that there are now altogether 84 legs. So let's find out how many sets there are. If you take 84 and you divide them by 6, you would be able to get a number, a very nice number, using your calculator, and this represents the number of sets. Alright, now 14 sets would mean that there are altogether 14 goats as well as 14 ducks. Alright, now but that's not all, right? They asked for how many goats there are. So if you think the answer was 14 goats, then you are wrong. Because remember in the question, we took off the 5 extra goats. So with this 14 goats, we are going to add the 5 extra goats back to give you your final answer, 19. So that's the answer for question number 6. 7. You have got this boy who brought 7 liters of mineral water for the trip. And he drank 1 whole 2/3 liters on the first day. For the next 4 days, he's going to drink 8 to 9 liters each day. Alright, now I'm going to stop here because looking at this sentence here, I know there is something that I can solve. Alright, now like I always love to tell the P6 classes, certain word problems may be very challenging, especially those 5-mark questions. But in mathematics, what matters a lot of times is the M1, the method marks that you can get. And how to look for M1s, how to look for method marks. Every sentence that starts off after the full stop, ending with a full stop, usually gives you an M1. So believe it or not, if you look at a 5-mark question, you should be able to see 5 different sentences at least. Because each sentence gives you what we call as M1, 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 and M1. That's how mathematics sometimes works. Alright, so if you see 5 sentences, most likely there will be 5 mark question. 6 sentences, 6 mark question, and so on. So let's look at this sentence over here. For the next 4 days, he's going to drink 8 to 9 each day. Alright, so 8 to 9 is per day. I'm going to multiply them by 4. Alright, now remember this is paper 1. This is paper 2. So you have the right to use a calculator. Please do not be tempted to use by pen and calculations. When you do that and you multiply wrongly, you get a wrong answer, gone is your mark. So please don't do that, because you have your calculator. Make full use of your calculator. Press it and you get the correct answer even faster than working out. Okay, now you have 7 liters of, you start off with 7 liters, okay, and you're going to drink 1 whole 2/3 on the first day, and from the second, third, and the fourth day, you drank this total. Okay, now again, I have to emphasize this. You have your calculators with you. Don't bother expressing them into common denominator, mixed number, just to calculate. Press the calculator, you get the final answer, but I will need you to make sure you write out your units. Every unit lost is half a mark gone. Okay, save yourself, half mark, easiest to earn. So your units here, especially for questions talking about volume, area, and so on. Be very careful with the units. Question 7 is done. Answers 1 whole 79 liters. Number 8, you have a table that shows a total of 105 cakes made by Lena last Friday. So with some little short notes that I can make, like how we do it for science, you can also write down some of the short notes to remind yourself. Okay, now the problem is there are 2 question marks, which you don't know the numbers. Alright, there are of course clues to help you. Lena made twice as many chocolate cakes as strawberry. So meaning to say chocolate is the one that's twice, whereas your strawberry is the one that is a single unit. Okay, and they said how many blueberry cakes did Lena make altogether. Now you do not know how much this figure is. Alright, but you do know that there are 2 known numbers and 2 unknown numbers. What you could do is, why not let's just take the known numbers out first. Alright, you take out 18 and you take out the 42, and that's going to leave you with, let's just do a little bit of mental sums. You get 45. Okay, I think I will have made some mistakes here. Alright, I'm just going to erase, and I realize one of the mistakes that I've made. It is chocolate versus strawberry, yeah? So there are some numbers that I know. Okay, let me just erase what I need to do first. Alright, chocolate is actually given, so my apologies. Chocolate is 42. And chocolate is double of your strawberry. So meaning to say that your chocolate, if you divide them by 2, you actually get the strawberry out, which is 21. Okay, now they are asking for blueberries. So then I will take the total minus the vanilla, minus the chocolate, minus the strawberry with my calculators, and I'll be able to get to the final answer, 24. Again, don't be tempted to use workings. Calculators are there with you. Alright, so answers 24. Question number 9. You have got a hall, talking about a hall, and the ratio of the number of chairs to tables. Chairs was being mentioned first, right? So tables was the second thing being mentioned. Make sure your order is correct. So chairs to tables, 7 is to 4. The table is 4. There are 21 more chairs than tables. So the difference is actually the 3 units difference. And we know that from the question is given, 3 units is actually the 21 extra. So 1 unit, okay. Now some exam tips for you. If you have divided and you get a very nice number, very likely you are in the right direction. What is the total number of tables and chairs? Now total units first. Let's get to the total units is 11 units. So 11 units will be the same as 7 times 11. That will give you 77. Alright, so that's for question number 9. Okay, now question number 10 sounds very familiar, isn't it? This question has been appearing in your primary 4 exams repeatedly. Okay, and those who are very familiar with it, you will know that this is a test of your common multiples. Alright, they gave you 2 scenarios. If you pack it by 7, so that means I will need to have my 7 multiples, you will have 4 lollipops left. But if you pack it into 5, so meaning to say now I want my common multiples to be in 5, then you will need 2 more lollipops. So what I could do is, alright, I could actually do it by the listing method. I will start off with the multiples of 7 first. So this calls for how strong you are with your times table. So I'm going to list out all the common multiples. I'm not going to list all. I'm just going to stop somewhere. Alright. And then I'm also going to list out the common multiples of 5, which gives me 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and 40. Alright. Now, of course, these are not the exact lollipops. They are just number of bags. So if you pack it into 3 bags, it means that you have 21 lollipops. Is that really true? Not true, because you will have 4 lollipops left. Now, 4 lollipops left means you actually got extra. Right, now, if you actually got extra, that means on top of all these numbers, they are not the original number. You will have 4 additional left. So meaning to say, 7, instead of 7, you will have 4 extra left. In fact, the exact number is 11. Same goes for 14. If you pack it to 14, 7, 7, meaning to say that you will have 4 lollipops left, actually you have 14 plus 4, which is 18. Alright, now the pattern goes on, so you can actually list out. Now the wonders of mathematics is this. Remember I said every sentence is an M1. So when you are able to decipher and you know that this is one sentence, this one sentence is actually M1. For listing out correctly, you get your first M1. Okay, now you notice some of you, when you look at your answer, you find that your final answer is wrong. But I've still given you M2. And this is a good reason why. Because you have done your job well, you have listed your steps, and because of you diligently and hardworking listing out your steps, even if your answer is wrong, you still get partial marks. Alright, so scenario number 2 is now you are short of 2 lollipops. If you pack it by 5, you are short of 2, meaning to say you only actually have 3. Okay, so the numbers here actually you are supposed to minus away. Alright, so if you pack it to 10, 5, 5, you have 10, actually your real number is 8 because you're short of 2. If you pack it by 15, 5, 5, 5, actually you're short of 2, you only have 13. So you do the same and so on. Now when you do that, you will be able to find a common number, which is 18. And that gives you the smallest possible number. Your answer will be 18. Okay, so that concludes question 1 to 10 that you have been given as homework to do. Now, in view of the time and in view of the exams on Friday, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to choose questions for you to do. I'm not going to let you finish the whole paper because we won't have time to review them. But I would like you to review through these 4 questions. I selected these 4 questions because they are comprising of skills that I'm very confident will reappear in your SA1 paper. So it will be good to master and know how to work on these 4 questions, 4 basic questions. Alright, and get to the final answers. Now, in the event that you do not get to these final answers, please look for me on Thursday. Thursday, I will either be at the staff room or I will be with the P6s at the maths room to be able to help them and help you at the same time if you have things to ask me because you couldn't get to the final answer. I will really need you to get to the expert level for these 4 questions. Alright, once you have these 4 questions mastered, you should be fine in your exam. Okay, now I have gone through and I'm going to end my video, but before that I would like to set my goals with all of you. You will find that as I go through question 1, question 2 and all the way to question 10, you find that all these questions are actually simple questions, even though they appear in paper 2 and paper 2 looks scary to you. Alright, now my point is this. For the first 10 questions or first 5 questions of paper 2, they are basic questions which you are supposed to get full marks for. So as a goal that I'm setting for this class, 5 responsibility, I would like you to make sure you aim for the full 10 questions correct. Now when you do that and you get all the 10 questions correct, can you imagine that for this first 10 questions you get it correct, you have actually secured and get yourself 20 marks. Just working on 10 simple questions, 20 marks is yours. I think it's worth it. Alright, so make sure in the exams, use your calculators wisely, get to these 20 marks, secure these 20 marks, on top of the paper 1 that's also very easy. So I'll see you back in class and good luck for your exams.